Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for the final quarterfinal matchup. It will be Australia taking on France for the SYDNEY Sevens. We've already known three sides that are making their way through to the semis. That is New Zealand. And then on the other side of the draw, South Africa will be playing Fiji. The winner of this game, they go on to take on the Kiwis in what should be a very awesome match indeed. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Looking through at the starting lineups, we will start with Australia, the home side. They will be as follows. It is going to be Nathan Lawson, Henry Patterson, Tim Clements, Maurice Longbottom, Josh Turner, Dietrich Roach, and James Turner, the last man in that Australian starting lineup. Then for France, it is the Gel, Rebage, Stephen Perez, Pauline Riva, Nelson Epi, Fournier, and also Jordan Sefo, who had a very good last game. So he'll be looking to do that exact same thing in this one. Looking through at the previous five fixtures between these two sides, relatively even. Actually split 3-2 in favour of the French. So Australia will definitely be wanting to do well. They're just actually talking about Henry Hutchison being unavailable due to the injury that he got in the game up against Argentina, which is a big shame as he is one of the keys for the Australians. But France, they're a tricky side to beat when they're playing passionately. And we've seen it in the past. We saw them beat Samoa. We saw them beat South Africa. This was all last week for the French. What's happening, Hamish? Enjoying not living in a perpetual downpour, says Distractor Sports. It's quite nice, to be honest. Hopefully you guys, or where you are, you're not getting too flooded up there. It's weird because it's absolutely pouring in the North Island, right? We get a little bit of drizzle, and the cricket match that I was going to be playing and got called off, even though that was the only drizzle that we had. Whereas there's like liters of water falling from the sky. I just hope that it slows down soon. It's weird, the weather, because it gives it all at once, and then the ground just can't handle trying to soak it all in. Mone Ferreira in charge of this one for the South Africans. Or sorry, the South African referee, I should say. It is. Now, Maurice Longbottom charging out onto the field with his side. He's trying to fire everyone up at the moment, yelling at his teammates. It's always a nice way of doing it. It will be France kicking off this one from left to right. This exciting quarterfinal, the final quarterfinal that we are going to be covering of the night, as it is the last game that is taking place for day two. But Stephen Perez, he will be kicking this one off. The Aussie bench in a huddle at the moment, just getting themselves even more fired up. Let's go France. And the chat as well. Les Bleus, they're normally pretty handy in the game of seven, like I mentioned. They can beat anyone on their given day. And yep, she's been a sloppy old summer in the north, says Distracted Sports. I feel like this year, well, last year we had the reverse. Like for us, it was pretty much winter throughout all of summer. And this year we're starting to get a few sunny days, but we still get a lot of rain. So it's more of like a spring or an autumn. Now, New Zealand, they will be waiting eagerly to find out who their challenger will be in that quarterfinal. And at the moment, Lawson with a nice line break for the Australians, sitting 35 metres out from the line. That ball is out. So Stephen Perez has been able to clean it up for France. Finds the offload to Jordan Sefo. Little bit of a slip there. Does go down 40 metres now from his own line. Legel looking to the short side. Maurice Longbottom makes the tackle on him. Perez again, driven backwards in the tackle. Longbottom, he's been busy. Maybe it was that "This is Sparta" chant that he started at the beginning of the match has really fired him up. They've dropped Stephen Perez on his back. France at the moment, possession going to be one of the key words of this contest. Nice bit of stepping there from Fournier. He's gone through, and I believe this will be the first try of the match for France. It certainly is. I'm hoping for a close game. And also the Froggy, the dark horse here, says Bodemink, and they have now just scored the opening try of the fixture. And it's slightly silenced the home crowd Australia, mainly because there's only like 20 Australians in attendance. The rest are either Fijian, Samoan, or Irish by the sounds of the reactions each time those other teams have played. But a nice bit of work at the start of this one. Fournier able to score the scoreboard, not giving him the try at this point. Hopefully it does soon. That kick successful from Pauline Riva, and 7-0 now. You see Henry Hutchison there. He's yawning. He's not happy to not be out there on the field. You can tell already. And also alongside him, I believe that's actually Nathan. No, that's not Nathan Lawson. Sorry. Who's that? Who's the other? Nick Maloof. That's the other tall guy for the Aussies. Going to bounce back, and now Australia will have the possession. Henry Patterson. Bit of a counter ruck there from France, but they went straight over the top and flopped down. Maurice Longbottom takes the quick tap. Now Australia, they'll be looking to use some of that pace that they got on the back line. James Turner, he is quick as, and he breaks through one, looks for the offload, finds it, but just waits a little bit too long to fire it away. Now Longbottom to Patterson. Looking good for the Australians. Josh Turner steps, looking to get it across back to James perhaps. Maurice Longbottom now passes off to James Turner. One more, Dietrich Roach down the wing now. Perfect chance for Tim Clements to score the first try of the match for the Aussies. And they do fire back. I think this game's going to be very close. I just got that seesaw feeling about it at the moment. But brilliantly done by Tim Clements. Right place, right time. Down the wing, had the pace to match. Got the pass from James Turner. And then Clements. It was a bit of a slip from one of the French players. I think he was asking for the referee to give him a penalty. Is he saying he was tripped? That was a bit high for that last tackle attempt from France. Now, back in the contest. Kicked over by Dietrich Roach, making the score 7-all now between Australia and France. 3.5 minutes remaining. This one looks like they're doing number 2. Well, they're doing the second play, I should say, that they've got. That was the tactic one. He went like this, trying to hide it. Dietrich Roach. Ready to kick this one off for Australia, using up as much time as he can. Making sure his team are fully rested. They've just gone the 10 metres. In fact, he's kicked it a bit flatter there. So it's going to be nicely claimed by the try scorer, Fournier. Now bounces up Nelson Epe. All on the outside was open if he wanted it. He does give it to Legiel. If we've still got a Distracted Sports here in the chat, who's fighting tomorrow in the UFC Distracted Sports? And did you watch the last card between Jamal Hill and the other fella? Jamal Hill and... Oh, I can see him. He's literally in my head, but I can't think of his name now. Jamal Hill and the other guy who he fought recently. I can't think of it. That's going to really annoy me that I can't think of his name. I hear you. You're taking a poop, says the Distracted Sport. And also, hi, says Brandon. Welcome in once again, mate. Hope you're doing well. France have only reached the Cup semi-finals in Australia once. Glover Teixeira, that's the one. Why could I not think of his name? In Brazil as well. Quite an intimidating one. Longbottom asking for the penalty for Perez being offside, even though it wasn't really impacting the scrum at all. Now Roach, as James Turner on the outside, does get it to him. Does offend on Nelson Epe, but he's been able to wrestle him down, and Glover says James McMahon there. So yeah, who's the fight card this weekend for the UFC if they've got one? I assume it's a fight night rather than a pay-per-view. Now Patterson pins the ears back, goes across there. Lawson down the wing. He just had his foot in touch. So 90 seconds left on the clock for this first half, and France will have themselves a line out from inside of the 22, just narrowly. And come on, Australia, says Viniana there. It's going to be close. I think it's going to be a one-try affair between the two sides. Australia have just conceded 5 points in the second half through pool play this weekend. That is a very impressive stat, although I would like to see how many France have conceded as well. Now Steven Perez, almost stolen in the breakdown, and Australia do get themselves that penalty. Lot of screaming from Maurice Longbottom. He's a very angry man at the moment. The saying goes, who pissed in his fish and chips? I said fish and chips wrong. I was too busy concentrating on whether or not I'm going to say it like a Kiwi, because people say we say fish and chips. So I tried not to say it like that, and instead said fifth and chips. Patterson going forward. No event this weekend. I think it's Lewis and some big white guy in the fight next week. I'm going to have a look at halftime. Big white guy. Josh Turner goes through, and it's going to be another try for the Aussies right near the end of the first half. I believe they might strategically use this 21 seconds they've got remaining and just allow it to end up being halftime. It was lost 24-0. I did see that, and I saw that it was 0-0 at halftime. I thought my scoreboard wasn't updating because I was like, oh, 0-0 at halftime, surely not. But yeah, no, it was. And then second half, saw some nice work. Samuel Vordre scored a try, which is nice to see for the Fijian draw. But that is going to be now halftime. Uses up the time wisely, Josh Turner. Islam versus Volk next weekend. Oh, is that Islam Makhachev? Back in action, maybe. We're going to do a Google UFC. While it is halftime, and it's 14 points to 7 at the moment. Spivak. Yes, Sergey. I didn't realize Sergey was that high of a contender, to be honest. I think he came from the... Did he come from the Contender series? And did you watch the game? I couldn't find a stream. Sadly, didn't get to see the game, but I had a scoreboard update that I was able to see who scored the tries and whatnot. And also, we have got there in the chat, shocking Rebels. Says Nate, maybe they're just saving it for the season, you know? I'm wrong, Volk Islam, the 12th, says James. And big white guy, yeah, very big white guy. Sergey Spivak, sorry. And also that would be good. The Volks fight versus Makhachev. You see, I've been slowly getting back into my UFC. I had to miss a few events because of like streaming in the middle of the night. I was always sleeping during Sunday afternoon, but now slowly trying to get back into it. The only weekend live streams that we've got at random hours for the next little while is Six Nations and URC. So shouldn't be terrible. No Leona, no Phillip, no Monty, and no Callaway. It was a full draw team, says Xavier Brown. Still would have been nice to see some sort of point, wouldn't it? Like just to give them something. Do they have another? They have got another preseason game, don't they, Xavier? If I'm not wrong. The crowd throughout this whole Sevens circuit have been absolutely loving it. And Sydney has turned up for day 2, which is absolutely awesome to see. But yeah, Volkanovski versus Islam Makhachev is the upcoming one on the 12th of February. And Jimmy Crute, Australian. Justin Puffer, Samoan. Yeah, so I like the fact that they put all the Kiwis and the Aussies all normally on the same card. Tyson Pedro, the Aussie, he's going to be on there as well. Robert Whittaker, Paulo Costa was cancelled for that one. Jamie Malaki, he's an Aussie too. Now, Shane Young, also a Kiwi, I believe. Now, it is going to be a knock-on from the Australians at the start of the second half. We play Brumbies and Wagga Wagga, says Xavier Brown. The NBA All-Stars game coming up as well very soon. It'll be a very, very good, says John there. Right, they're going to be having a chat to Nick Maloof, I should say. He is also injured, so they've lost a lot of players, Australia. But currently leading 14 points to 7. Good place to be in for this quarterfinal. And they will be looking to continue with that momentum. Stephen Perez goes up the Pauline River now, looping around. Here comes Perez again. Nick Maloof, he's trying to do the interview, but also he's just trying to watch the game as well. It was a shame I didn't get the hangman on the Perth card. That would have been awesome if they were able to get Dan Hooker in there. Or at least, like, what's Brad Riddell up to? The Quake. What's he up to? Who else have we got Kiwi-wise other than, of course, Adesanya? We've got Quake Riddell. We've got Shane Young, who is on the card, which is cool to see. I'm trying to think of those other Sky City kickboxing guys. Kai Kara France, I don't think he's quite back to fighting yet. He might be in a month or so. Me and you, one day, Distractor Sports, could do a UFC watch-along, if you're keen. I feel like that would be a fun stream. Now, 5 meters out from the line, long bottom. Feeding the ball in for the Australians. They might just go for a kick downfield here, unless they go for the run off the back of the scrum, try and make a few extra meters. But the last thing you want to do is give the ball back to the Australians. Dan Hooker, of course, the obvious, or the second most obvious, I guess you'd say, behind Israel Adesanya. Unless you consider Kai Kara France as the next biggest guy. Now kicked him behind. And also Brad taking sabbatical, hanging up the gloves. Are you keen for a watch-along? Says Distractor Sports. If Aaron Gordon makes the All-Star side, he's entering the slam dunk contest. Carlos Ulberg, a Kiwi. Royal Rumbles on Monday live commentary. Says Nate. The thing is, I will be watching that Royal Rumble. Although someone said it's tomorrow instead. That was Robert who said it's Sunday. But is it Sunday in America, so it's Monday for us? I hope it is anyway. Because or else I know one of you guys we'll be like, did you see such and such won the Royal Rumble? I actually had that happen last year, sadly. But that was because I decided to stream on the day of it, but not the Royal Rumble. So someone was like, did you know Ronda Rousey came back and won the whole thing? And I was like, oh, that's what I was going to do this evening. Now, nice run from Pascal Ligiel. Do you watch WWE Distracted Sports? Are you more of a, like, kind of cut them open and make them bleed kind of guy? Now, Perez going across the river. Now, France aren't out of this contest yet. They've still got a very good chance if they can score the next try in the matchup. Ligiel receives the inside ball. Wrestled down. Another offload. Here comes Pascal with the step again. Maurice Longbottom taken down round the ankles. And France with Pascal will run it in. In fact, it is going to be their number 20 instead, Fournier, who has been able to score that try. The second half, I think it's going to go relatively slow. No, not a pro wrestling guy. Wrestling is a fake, says Spider Meek. Although so are movies. But you don't really sit in a theater going, The Rock didn't really jump off the top of that building. You know, it's entertainment more than anything in it. Nice wide ball for Fournier to be able to go in, get the try. Okay, referee from South Africa has just said to Australian Longbottom, stop talking. Pretty much. Anytime there's a breakdown, shut up, I think was the gist of that conversation. Oldberger, Kiwi in the UFC. The wrestling not as good as it was in the earlier mid-90s, in my opinion. Says John there. That kick is successful, so we're back to 14-14 between these two sides. Now, this is the last game of the day. So theoretically, these guys could go to golden point time and just keep on playing up until the end of the night. Just keep everyone entertained for hours. Now, Steven Perez about to kick this one off for the French, and they've taken their momentum back a little bit. This is for a spot up against the Kiwis. Aussies to win this. Luck on their side, says Roof. I mean, they've had some good chances, but France, once again, they're a side that you cannot underestimate because they will fire back and they will hurt you when you do get it wrong. Pascal now trying to get through. Another turnover. So they've called it a knock on. Darby Lancaster can't quite believe it. He's almost got the Paddy Pimlet haircut going. The bottom Miss Fiji game, who won was the Fijians. They were able to get themselves the victory by about, I believe it was 15 points or somewhere around there. Hang on. I'll just have a quick look. They did win 24 points to 14. So they won by 12. Abdullah the Butcher. And also go Aussies try time. Who's the danger man for the Aussies? Hamish says Roof. I would say Dietrich Roach. At the moment, he's my pick. But I don't know if he's still out on the field. And Tony's at the pub going all Jake Hickey. While I try as hard, I could just to make ye. And also Paddy Pimlet, he's a legend, says John. And I was like, cool, thanks, says Roloff. No worries at all. That's going to be a knock-on from France. So now Australia will have themselves the scrum feed. Longbottom's just swearing straight into the referee's mic. And gee, that former bloke has got a beak. Or sorry, the Fournier bloke has got a beak. He walked into a wall with a full erection. Me and George were having a conversation similar to that, not completely the same, the other day. Because we were on the beach, as you do. We were bored. So we were like, right, well, we went up the road anyway. And we were on the beach. And we somehow got onto the conversation of if George ended up like tensing his belly and he walked into like a wall or something solid, his belly would stop his face from smacking the wall. So in a way, it's useful. That was the conversation we had. Inspirational, I thought. Erections on the beach, not on this trip. The Longbottom goes out wide. It's going to be Lancaster. Tries to go through, just offloads it. Knock on from Josh Turner. And now the scrum feed goes the way of France. Just going back and forth at the moment for these two. Someone's going to get themselves the win. I can tell you that. There's currently a minute left on the clock. There is a chance we got a golden point. So the day might be over just a little bit later than it was first anticipated. Yeah, thrown in on the inside. And France now have themselves the scrum feed, going for a different one. I thought erection was direction, says Ruth. Is it? Is it like a compass? Always points north? Haven't tested that. Right, ball's gone in. Carol now. He's got this one. Irigua passes off to him. France have numbers and a nice step trying to go straight up the middle, finding the offload to Irigua once again. And a lot of pressure here. And now Pasquet. It's going to be Lancaster. Manages to cut him off, but doesn't quite make that tackle. Irigua now goes across. This is the great chance for France. In fact, this could be a match winner for them. If they get the draw and pass right, it bounces to Lachelle. So it takes a little bit longer. And also we have got there, this game is intense. I got $20 on the French, $120 return if so. And also France by 19. And did I see a young Fleshen make an appearance? Says Gareth. Fleshen. Did we see Fleshen? Don't remember Fleshen unless it was very brief somewhere. Not sure if it was on this one though. Now France, 22 meters out. Still trying to get over. Just had to comment on the Kiwi lads. Rock your socks off. Aussies must do it, says Ruth. Irigua once again goes across. If France score now, they win the game. If Aussie can stop them, that's going to be the knock-on, but it becomes a penalty for France. So it's going to continue a little bit longer. And Golden Point could be on the cards here. This could actually be a drop kick attempt. They could go for the 3. And if they get the drop kick over, are they taking it on or are they going for the quick tap here? What are they thinking? They don't look like they're taking on the 3 points. This to win the game. This would be the second time we've seen a last-minute penalty be scored if they do get it. And probably still on the piss after the Scarlets beat the Bulls. Here's Gareth. Right. For the win. Can they get it, France, and move on? It's over. And Australia are defeated. They will face Samoa in the 5th place playoff semi-final. Going to Oamaru anytime soon. The road works just after Pikiri, says Kiwi Gamer. I like to go bowling again in Oamaru, I think. That was quite a lot of fun when we did it with the boys. And also go Aussie Gold, says Walter. And also that is a New Zealand site. There is a New Zealand site that upload full games, time them out about 30 minutes after match end, says Roll Off. So yeah, it is very handy that the games go up straight after. They normally do get taken down, of course, but as long as you get to watch them at some point, that's the main thing. Show me the money, baby. And also, this is the first rugby I've watched in 2023. Really? Well, I guess, what do we say? Welcome back, I guess. Although I assume you've been watching a few other sports along the way as well, distracted, but you'll be excited for the Six Nations, I think. Super Rugby as well, just around the corner. Getting into the rugby season, building up to that World Cup in 2023, which is this year, because 2023 is now. And I was unlucky, says Nate. So yeah, France will go on to face New Zealand. Samoa will be facing Australia in a playoff game. And also we have got there, I'm going to be so well informed for the podcast. When's it starting back up, Distracted Sports? Is it straight away for the Six Nations? Straight into it? And Rithik is there really in there as well. But so the sides are announced. Fiji, they will be playing South Africa. New Zealand, they will be playing up against the other side. France will be playing New Zealand. That's the one that I was looking for. You're going to broadcast Edinburgh versus Sharks. Sadly, time zone-wise, with the Sevens tomorrow, it's going to be tricky. I'll see how I'm going. If I do end up doing it, I'll probably only schedule it about 2 or 3 hours before the match, if not maybe closer. But if I do end up going to sleep, we will sadly have to miss that game. 2 cents, as the one who's meant to be informed, I recorded the first episode of the year on Wednesday, or recording it, sorry. And there, that's fair enough. You're the jokes man. You're the... I didn't have a tss. Have I got anything that tisses? I've got a bin. It's just a thud. It doesn't quite work as a tss. Not a sharp, says a roll off. 6-1 odds, thank you, says John there. Congratulations for that one. So that's how things go. It's either your day or it isn't. Thanks. Hamish French fries Aussie. Or French fried Aussies. Says Ruth, I'm the idiot. But you are a likable idiot. And I mean that in the nicest way possible, Tony. You know? You just got that aura about you that it's like, how can you be mad at someone who is nice at the same time? You know? Thanks, mate. Cheers, little like country, the Kiwi lads. No worries, Nate. We will be back tomorrow for another day of the Sevens. We'll get those all scheduled later on tonight. We're also going to be doing a post-match review of Samoa versus New Zealand. I feel that game was one that we could talk about a little bit more than we just did. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe like I mentioned. And I will see you all for the next one.